Lisa Cornwell, Steve Burkowski, always great to have you with us on Golf Central. Hard to believe, but only 3 events remain this season on the European Tour, and they are the final 3 tournaments in the race to Dubai to crown the Tour's top player.
Lisa, it's already November. The year's almost over, but still a lot of meaningful golf to play as we get things started with the European Tour this week in Turkey. And it is the first of 3 straight Rolex Series tournaments to culminate the season-long race to Dubai. Time to take a look back at a recap from the 5 earlier this year.
How about the champion golfer of the year, Shane Lowry, birdied the par 5 18th. It was a 71 on the card to beat Richard Sterney by 1 shot. And how about the celebration, picking up his daughter and collecting the trophy?
That was in Abu Dhabi. Now at the Irish Open, Jon Rahm shot a final round 62, overcomes a 5-shot deficit, finishes 16 under, wins by 2. One of the best in the world, showing his global prowess this year in Ireland. Let's give him that trophy. Smile on his face for the Spaniard, a winner in Ireland in 2019.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to be talking about him for many years to come. The Scottish Open, Bernd Wiesberger made this putt on the 3rd playoff hole to get a 2nd win of the year. What a season it's been for him as he continues to climb up those world rankings, and again, showing all the trophy shots, the celebratory moments.
Absolutely, and Bernd wouldn't be done, but let's go to the BMW PGA Championship. Danny Willett, final round 67. He finishes 20 under par. Beats Jon Rahm by 3 shots. Willett, a hug for Rahm, a hug for his young son, and what a rejuvenation we have seen from the Masters champ here in 2019.
Yeah, talking about climbing back up the world rankings, he certainly has done that. Now, back to Wiesberger, this in the Italian Open. How about a final round 65 to beat Matthew Fitzpatrick by a single shot, earning his 2nd Rolex Series win and his 3rd win overall of the year.
So those are the highlights from the 5 Rolex Series events already played in 2019. 3 more remain. They're the final 3 events of the season on the European Tour. This week, the Turkish Airlines Open. Then next week in South Africa with the Nedbank Golf Challenge. And then the season finale, the DP World Tour Championship. That one in Dubai. A lot still to be decided as we give you the updated Race to Dubai standings. We just showed Bernd Wiesberger. He's won 3 times this year on the European Tour. He is in first. Jon Rahm is second. Shane Lowry rounding out the top 3. Lowry in position to make a move in these final 3 weeks as we hear from the Open champion heading into this important stretch.
To come out at the start of the year and winning Abu Dhabi and win a Rolex event was huge, and it obviously gave me the confidence going forward. So look, it's outside of a major as a European Tour player, it probably doesn't really get much bigger. Obviously WGCs as well, but Rolex events are definitely up there. It's my main goal over the next 3 weeks to go out there and perform as best I can, and really going into the final 18 in Dubai, it'd be lovely to have a chance to win the race to Dubai, because you know, to be European #1 would be very special, and it would just kind of add to the year that I've had.
So we take a look at some of the notable tee times this week in Turkey. And let's focus right now on these final 2 groups, because we just heard from Shane Lowry. But we have been talking about a lot of these players, and we're going to continue to do so as we welcome in Tripp Eisenhower, 3 on the tee. Think you can handle that one?
Yeah, I can, absolutely. And talk about 3 players that I think could have an impact this week in Turkey. The first one is Bernd Wiesberger. I mean, this guy you mentioned, he's won 3 times. And when I look at what his game has done this year, it's win or nothing. I mean, the guy has not had many top 10s other than his wins. He only has 3 other top 10s in 23 starts. Part of the reason why is he's 42nd in scoring. So he's either right there up there on the leaderboard, or he's down there, not necessarily missing cuts, etc., but you can see 3 wins, 3 top 10 finishes. But he does sit as the man they're trying to catch. I think if he wins one of these 3, he's going to be the guy to do it, provided somebody doesn't get red hot. Speaking of someone that I think would get red hot, is my number 2 for 3 on the tee, and that's Matt Wallace. This is a guy who won 3 times last year, and a lot of people were expecting him in 2019 to follow that up. He's played well, but he's number 28th in the official world golf ranking. He's 8 top 10s. 8 worldwide top 10s, and he is a 3-time winner, like I said, last year. So I would like to see him make a run. Now, he's 6th in the standings right now. He's definitely going to have to win 1, possibly 2 of these, but it's always nice to back up a multi-win year with another win year, so he's looking to change that, and he's a very, very talented player. So I think he could be part of the story this week in Turkey.
And then, of course, a guy who's been part of the story the last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, it's been a different Justin Rose. The Rose is kind of out of bloom, if you will. Last year, he was in full bloom, and during this stretch where he won here in Turkey, he had a 7-tournament stretch, 7 straight top 8 finishes, including the win here, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, part of the reason why it vaulted him to number 1 in the world. Now, his last 7 starts, he's only had 2 top 10s and the best finishes in 8th. Why? Because Justin Rose is not scrambling and believe this or not hitting the ball as consistently well as he has been over the course of his career, looking to change that on a place he likes.
Yeah.
He's won here a couple of times.
Yeah, and obviously a ton of confidence on this golf course, and you expect Justin Rose to get back into gear.
Correct.
At any moment.
Phoenix Country Club in Arizona plays host to the final event of the season on the PGA Tour champions for the 3rd consecutive year. The par 71 layout opened back in 1921 is 6,763 yards and was the site of the PGA Tour's Waste Management Phoenix Open on 38 occasions. Let's take a look at the format for the final event of the year on the PGA Tour champions. 4 rounds, 36-man field, no point reset, 2 points for every dollar earned. So the winner is going to get 880 points. Top 5 in the standings have a mathematical chance to win. Here are the top 5. Scott McCarron looks to become the 2nd consecutive player to win the Cup a year after finishing runner-up. Kelly is 2nd, Langer 3rd, Monty there at 4th. And how about Retief Goosen, number 5? He's the highest-ranked rookie entering the season finale.
A year and a half ago in the Women's NCAA Championships in Stillwater, Oklahoma, Arizona captured the national title for the 3rd time in program history, beating Alabama 3-2 in the finals. That was Hailey Moore. She was in the anchor match for the Wildcats. And on the first playoff hole, she rolled in that 5-footer for birdie to give her team the win. What a moment that was for those young ladies and their coaches. Moore finished her college career this past May. 2 weeks later, she turned pro, and on Saturday, the moment she's always dreamed of came true. The 20-year-old was one of 19 rookies to earn an LPGA Tour card. For next season, she finished in a tie for 11th in the LPGA Q Series Finals at Pinehurst. We are excited to have Hailey Moore join us on the show tonight. Hailey, first of all, congratulations. This has been quite the journey for you. Let's begin with what happened recently. In August, you make it through stage 1 of Q School. Then early last month, you made the cut on the number in stage 2. And in the final round on Saturday, to get your card, you were 4 over after 6 holes and somehow pulled it all together. How would you describe all of these experiences since turning pro?
It's been really awesome. It really has not sunk in yet exactly what's happened, but I just told myself it was 8 rounds of golf, and on the 8th round I was in a pretty good position, and I just told myself just to stay patient out there and make pars. Like not all the scores weren't super low out there, so I knew I could battle back and make a couple birdies or just make pars and just move along.
We all always hear how tough Q School is, but to go through stage 1 and then make it through stage 2 on the number and then 8 rounds at Pinehurst, you know it's going to be tough. But in terms of grueling, both physically and mentally, were you prepared for everything that it entailed?
Coming in there, I was prepared in some parts of my game, but I just knew that I knew stage 2 was going to be a tough one to get through with only 30 girls advancing, and then Q Series, the top 45 after 8 rounds. So I kind of just stayed focused and just tried to not do a lot to physically make my body tired, just keep doing what I was doing the whole week.
All right, let's go back just a little bit. In early September, Beth Ann Nichols wrote a fantastic story for Golf Week. She laid out all the financial struggles and sacrifices that your parents have made for you to chase this dream of playing on the LPGA Tour. Now, before that article was written, your family started a GoFundMe page, and you had raised just a little bit over $6,000. After the article, the money started pouring in. All of us were watching it. What has it meant to you to have this kind of support from a lot of people you've never met?
It's truly absolutely amazing. A lot of people don't know that it's very hard for new LPGA rookies to start off on the LPGA Tour just because there's so much money behind it with entry fees, and most of the mini tour events that I played in, I would win money, but most of it goes towards the next tournament with the entry fees and if I have to stay in a hotel. So it's just having all that support from many people who I didn't know. It's truly amazing just because they know financially golf can be hard to afford at first for rookies. Just being out there, and it was just truly amazing, and I can't thank them all enough.
I tell you what is also amazing, it's not just people you don't know, but it's people maybe who you haven't met who now know about you, and the entire golf world knows about them. I know recently Phil Mickelson tweeted you to be able to get a message from Phil and from other players who I'm sure you have idolized. Could you have dreamed for things like this to happen to you?
I mean, I've dreamed of being on the LPGA since I was a little girl when I first started playing this sport. But for me to do it, my first time going through Q school was just absolutely amazing. I didn't think it would happen, but just all the support from all these players that have been messaging me is just pretty awesome. And I just can't think of any better way to start the LPGA next year.
What did you do when you got that tweet from Phil?
I kind of looked at it. I took a double take because I was like, wait, what? And then I showed it to my mom and a couple of my friends, and they're like, you're like, they were like, dang, you're like a top star now if he sends that out.
That's really cool. Hailey, I have to commend you. You've been very forthcoming about being bullied as a young girl and as a teenager. And I want to say this to anyone who hasn't seen the story that Ryan Lavner did about what you faced. I want to encourage them to go find it on golfchannel.com. I've talked to your dad about those days when you had very little confidence because of all the bullying. But here you are now, a young woman with thousands of fans hoping that you're the next superstar in women's golf. How were you able to face those fears and become the confident young woman and golfer you are today?
I really tried to block it out of my mind just because I had a dream of just playing golf the rest of my life, and I knew it was hard at first with these comments just because it really did downgrade myself and my physical activity of how I look. But I just got more support from my family. Just be like, just block it out as much as you can, and you go do what you do. Don't let other people who you don't know judge you and tell you like what to do, or just try to block it out as much as possible.
I know it's early. You just got that card, but I'm sure next season you're already starting to think about it. It's right around the corner. What are you looking forward to the most as you start your LPGA career?
Just like it's a new journey, it's a new chapter. I'm just looking forward to seeing where it takes me. Traveling a lot that's gonna be a little different at first to get used to. And I think just seeing, just going down the road and learning stuff from playing with other professionals out there who have been out there longer than me, and just seeing what I can do to improve my game in some parts, because I won't make every cut out there. I'll just see what I can do to improve my game and just be one of the top players out there pretty soon.
Hailey Moore, they say people bully people a lot of times because they're jealous. You've made a lot of those bullies jealous of what you've done because you are now a superstar in this game and you have a lot of people pulling for you. Congratulations. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.